It started as a joke between me and my friends, an invitation-only weekend at a private resort rumored to be open-minded. Kind of place with no room numbers, just bungalows and first names. I was restless in my marriage, suffocating in routine, and the idea of a place where the rules blurred sounded like the kind of thrill I didn't even know I'd been craving. My wife had to back out at the last minute. Work. I thought maybe that was a sign I shouldn't go. Then my mom called. She'd heard I was going solo. Newly divorced and desperate to feel young again, she invited herself along, said the beach sounded perfect. I tried to explain, awkwardly, vaguely, that it wasn't exactly a place for family bonding. But she was persistent, and I didn't have the guts to tell her the truth. She'd always been a little too comfortable, a little too youthful, laughed at dirty jokes, wore clothes that turned heads. Still, this wasn't the kind of trip I wanted to share with her. I told myself maybe she wouldn't notice. Maybe she'd stick to the spa. But the moment we arrived, I knew I'd made a mistake. Even the staff radiated a quiet, charged energy. Tight smiles, uniforms that barely held together, lingering glances. I watched Mom survey the lobby, her expression unreadable. She said nothing about the sultry atmosphere, just checked in, smiled, and acted like everything was perfectly normal. We got separate rooms. After dinner, she claimed she was turning in early. I felt a wave of relief and made my way to the far side of the resort, the infamous swinging pool tucked behind palms and torches. The deeper I walked, the hotter my blood pulsed. This was escape. No wedding ring. No real name. Just strangers, moonlight, and possibility. The music drifted low and rhythmic as I stepped into the clearing, and froze. Bodies moved in the water like a dream. Glistening, faceless, intertwined. No guilt. No consequences. Exactly what I came for. And then I saw her. Mom. Standing at the edge of the pool, a drink in her hand, wearing a black swimsuit that barely covered anything. She looked completely at ease. She caught my eye, raised her glass, smiled. I told myself it was a trick of the light. But it wasn't. She was there. She belonged. I slipped toward the bar, praying she hadn't seen the shock on my face. Maybe she didn't know what this place really was. Maybe she just thought it was an adult-only beach party. I clung to that fantasy while ordering a drink. From the corner of my eye, I watched her laughing, talking to couples, touching arms in that casual, intimate way. She looked alive in a way I hadn't seen in years, not since before Dad left. A hostess passed by, clipboard in hand, inviting guests to join an anonymous pool game. Icebreakers, she called it. Masks provided. No names. No identities. I turned away. She stepped forward. I watched her not write her name, just smiled and nodded. Others joined, laughing, teasing. The hostess handed out blindfolds like party favors. I should have left. Instead, I let someone tie the mask around my eyes, a soft velvet veil that stripped the world away. We were led into the shallow pool. Laughter echoed around me. Fingers brushed. Hands explored. No talking. Just sensation. Then someone found me. Small hands. Confident. They slid up my arms, tracing muscle and skin like they already knew the map. My heart jumped. I should have pulled away. Instead, I leaned in. Mouths found each other, blind and hungry. Her body pressed against mine beneath the water. Every touch, every breath felt too familiar. But I didn't stop. I didn't stop when her fingers slid along my waist, when her hips ground into mine with a rhythm that left no doubt. I didn't stop when her lips brushed mine again and again, tasting like wine and danger. Somewhere deep in the part of me still clinging to logic, I knew. And still, I stayed. When it ended, she left first, slipping from my hands like smoke. I tore off the mask, heart pounding, eyes scanning. But she was gone. The water churned with strangers. The fantasy dissolved. The next morning, sunlight felt cruel. She was already at the breakfast table, hair tied up, sundress casual, coffee in hand. She looked at me, smiled, and said, "Morning." "Sleep well." I nodded, laughed, lied. We didn't speak about it. Not then. Not ever. The rest of the weekend was a careful performance. We toured the island, took photos, laughed too hard at bad jokes. But when our hands brushed or our eyes met for a moment too long, I felt it again. The unspoken thing between us, pulsing beneath every polite word. We went home. Life resumed. But sometimes during family dinners or quiet holidays, I catch her watching me, with a look that says she remembers, that she hasn't let it go. And neither have I. Some things we bury deep. Some things never stay buried. We crossed a line, and we're still living on the other side of it. If this story made your jaw drop, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, comment where you're watching from, and above all, share the truth with your friends and family. They need to hear it too.